that video is finished. So welcome everyone to this case law product tour. We did this one a few weeks ago, Daisy, my colleague, and I, and due to the demand, we're redoing it. So we're really glad you can join us for this rerun. And a lot of people couldn't make it because they were in court or in meetings. So we'll start again. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Could someone just let me know that you can see the Gracie's index and case law research? Is it showing?
Yes, we can, Louis. Thank you.
Great. Just a note from our sponsor before we continue. What you're looking at there is the massive 6-volume Gracie's index, and my colleague, the ME, Shabash Pillay, has just signed off on this thing. So it's going to be available next month. Absolutely titanic collection of the SALR and the All SA, all blended perfectly and synergized in one place. It's completely unique and covers all of the main competitors from 1947 to the end of 2020. So it is the only resource out there that synergizes and combines both of those main flagship law report series. And I must say, the price is, we barely make a margin because of the massive amount of print and these covers, texts, the covers which are imported from overseas. So keep an eye out for that release next month. What we are here about is case law research, because us law report editors, we have it pretty good. We get to read case law all day as our job, and we fortunately, or maybe not, we don't get to go to court and to practice, but you guys do. So you're very, very busy all day with practice consultations, appearing in courts, drafting your pleadings, your heads. You don't really have time to read case law all day. And as we know, your case law is absolutely crucial to have the latest stuff. And what's so exciting about South Africa is our case law is the most dynamic and interesting anywhere, because we've got this beautiful Roman Dutch common law. And then on top of that, we've got this beautiful modern constitution. And we've got an amazing amount of legislation coming out, which needs interpreting and applying to the normal situation. And then on top of that, we've got the most interesting economic and social discrepancies and upheavals and challenges that go to court. So, and then we don't even want to get going on the state capture issues and issues at the Zondo Commission and former presidents. So it's very, very important to stay on top of our case law because it moves quickly and it's very complex and intricate. So that's where we come in. And yep, there's an amazing resource out there, Saflii. We are really lucky to have this resource. Let me just see if I can move that. Now, Saflii's main search bar, it works very well too. You can see it here. If you go in there every day, you can have a browse of the recent stuff. And if you put in keyword searches here, you say, for example, interim interdict or whatever you're looking for, and you click search, the results are very nice. And a lot of the times people don't realize that you can actually filter the results. Like, as you can see here, I've searched for interim interdict and it defaults to relevance. And then you can also filter by date and by database. And by database, you can actually filter it by court. That's very powerful. If you want to go here and then filter only by Supreme Court of Appeal, there's amazing functions built in here that a lot of people don't know about. They just Google it and they wind up at Saflii. But if you go in and you use their search, you can really enhance your research with their filters. And another thing a lot of people don't know about is Saflii's got its own citator built in called the Saflii Law Site. Very, very powerful stuff here. You can search by parties, by court, by jurisdiction, by citation. And once you found your case, it's actually got a very clever and efficient noter up. So if you have found a case there, go and check the law site for it to check for later cases that cite that case. It's a very powerful tool, and it's sort of hidden in the background. And once you know about it, can really back up your research. Now, this is our secret weapon for searching Saflii. Google Advanced Search. These guys have armies of coders and very smart artificial intelligence guys working for them. So you can harness that with your searches over Saflii. So go to Google Advanced Search, and then right at the bottom, just pop in Saflii's website address. So you're basically going to harness tens of millions of dollars worth of algorithms and artificial intelligence that Google's got, only concentrated on the Saflii website. The power of that is amazing. So what you can do to limit your searches is even you can restrict them to up to only a year ago if you were looking for something really, really recent. But I tend to not do that. I just restrict it to Saflii. And then the key to your searches here is up here. These are crucial. All these words, this exact phrase, any of these words or none of these words. Now, what do you have to do when you're looking for that case? You have to imagine all of the possible words the judge could have used in his judgment. Now, here I'm looking for cases on pure economic loss. Now, I've thought this through, and I've realized that the judges always refer to this like this: pure economic loss in this sequence with the spaces. So I'm happy to put that in this exact phrase. But now I want to narrow it to sort of construction contracts and stuff. So I can't put these in here because who knows how the judge is going to refer to it. So what I've done is I've said any of these words. So I've put building, construction, contract, and the judge might refer to it as an agreement instead of a contract. So what Google Advanced is going to do is going to find me cases in Saflii that deal with this exact phrase, and then it's going to rank them for if they contain any of these words. So the judge, it might contain building or construction or contract or agreement or for, who knows. Now, this is absolutely key to you finding your cases or not, to think carefully and imagine how the phrases that the judge would use, and then to cleverly use these words. Now, all of these words is handy as well. Like, say I wasn't sure if pure economic loss would appear in this exact sequence, or maybe with a hyphen or something else, then I'd put it up here. But because I know it'll go exactly like this, and Latin phrases like actio de paupery or whatever, then you can also bang it in the exact phrase. Just giving you another example, if I had a client come in to me and he's been falsely arrested and beaten by the police, then what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if the judge will refer to it, we know he's going to use the word unlawful. You could chuck an illegal, but they don't normally use the word illegal. But I'm looking for arrest or detention. The judge might not have used the word arrest. He might have only used detention or. So I'm going to go any of these words. So if the judge uses arrest or detention, it'll find them. And now, psychological sequelae, I'm not sure if the judge might put that word in front of this, or put an and or an of, or he might arrange these psychological and sequelae in a different way. So that's why I'm going to pop it in all of these words. I could put it in exact phrase, but just in case, to throw my net as wide as possible, I'm going to put all these words. Now, when you get your results on Saflii, it looks like this. So what you do, and this is really handy, is highlight it and click right and copy it. And if you paste it, keeping all of the styles, it'll actually keep the hyperlinks to the content on Saflii. So you can paste it into an email or paste it into a Word document and then send it to counsel or your colleague. And then they'll be able to see your research. And here it's highlighted pure economic loss where it found it. Oh, look here, it found the word building. Lovely. And this one here, Hecruit, you can see it's found the word contract, agreement, and pure economic loss. And your colleague, if you've pasted it with all the styles, can click on the title and then go through it. It'll click through to that case. So very, very useful. Now, when you do get to your case, what I do is I copy the main case name up to there, download the PDF, paste that into the case name, you have to take away the case number because files won't save with a slash. But the full case name plus the neutral citation, that's a really good convention to use. Then you can save your file and it's nicely properly named, just the way Saflii's got it. So you can find it later or they can reference it. Now, there's the one hazard with open source stuff like this. As good as it is and as powerful as it is, it's not curated like law reports are. So if I'm looking at this case, if it's very late, a recent case, like in the last month or two, I can use it with confidence. But anything that's a little bit older, unless you go and check that Saflii law site very carefully, and there's nothing to indicate right here that this thing's been overturned on appeal, because, for example, here's a 2019 case, and if you've been following our post, you'll see that not so long ago, this order was replaced or substituted by the Supreme Court of Appeal, and they found pretty much opposite of what the High Court found in this consumer protection claim. So there's your hazard, and with all of the work that you put in, you just don't want to be using a case that's been criticized or has been overturned on appeal, or even that your opponent's got a case that's much better on the facts or on the legal issue that just deals with it better. So that's free is good, and you use Google Advanced over it and you check that Saflii law site. It's very, very powerful and efficient. But if you want the real curated, edited law reports, this is Subhash Pillai. She's our managing editor of an astounding, you'll see here, we have 11 active law report series, and a lot of these go out every month. And Subhash is the one who reads about 3,000 incoming cases every year, and she selects them. Now that's our first value add for you, is that she decides whether they are reportable or not in any one of these series. And our flagship, the All South African one, you can see at the top. And for the All South African, Subhash cherry picks only about 1 in 10 of what comes in that will be reported in that series. And others might go to the competition law reports or constitutional or to the Haram's intellectual property law reports, which, by the way, is packed with articles as well. So that's a very lively active series. And we've got Henny Klopper's quantum non-patrimonial loss. So Subhash will choose these cases if they are precedent setting, if they take the law forward, if they add to the body of law that we've already got in the subject index. If they don't, if they merely apply accepted law with lots of quotes and they state it very well, they're just applying existing law to these facts and coming with a verdict. It's not reportable. It has to say something useful, resolve a conflict, interpret a piece of legislation, perhaps even extremely, declare it unconstitutional, really interpret something, give us something useful, then you'll see it in the All South African law reports. You see, that's how her first value add is you don't have to sift through non-reportable stuff. You'll get delivered to you electronically or in print what Subhash has selected from reading all of these cases. And she, in turn, is backed up by this amazing team of case law fanatics who live and breathe law reports on the electronic side, on the selection, all of our various series, and making sure that there's value add with the citations. And there's a lot of value add we do to these. And Subhash has assisted in her selection by retired judges Claassen and Levinson, who not only vet the selection, but also review the head notes and provides input. And then we've also got authors like John Grogan on the labor, and in the picture is Peter Blomkamp. He's our author on the constitutional law reports. And pictured here with him is our colleague Shanae. This was when they were scanning the Apprentice Hall law reports. Now, these run from 1922 to 1995. And over 50,000 cases. We have scanned them, individually broken them up into PDFs, and they're in their original categories like husband and wife, mercantile law, and criminal law. And these are available after 2 years of scanning at enormous cost. They're available absolutely for free with your All South African online subscription or your subscription to Essential Case Law. That is an absolutely massive value add for free to your subscription. And it's just a treasure trove of our common law. And there's a lot of cases in there are not available anywhere else, which is kind of handy in litigation if you can dive deep into the Prentice Hall, and they do come up in our keyword searches or by browsing. Now, the other thing that they do is our law reports editors is they add a lot of value here to the case, not only editing, correcting, but the keywords, they'll categorize this into the entire body of law. So this case here will get categorized under civil procedure, litigation, abuse of court processes. So that will go alphabetically sorted into our subject index so that you can browse and find your cases by starting in civil procedure, going down to litigation, step, until you find the case and the facts that match your issue. And then there is the editor summary as well, or otherwise known as the head note, which describes the law and the facts which make this reportable. And then the key thing, the really, really key part here is the annotations. We very carefully treat the cases that this case refers to. So this case referred to, for example, African Farms. It discussed Benesh versus Wixley. And this is the key ingredient to our massive body of cases in our legal citator. We have 70 to 80,000 cases, and it's growing, cases in the legal citator that are all connected to each other, going back to 1828, layer upon layer upon layer of cases that refer to earlier cases and refer to each other and cross-pollinate. Now, when you do research, now, if you look in the middle of the screen, there's your Natal Joints versus Indumeni case, which is very heavily referred to. And, you know, researching the notar up on Natal Joint municipality is a nightmare. You just can't read all of these cases. So we try to help you with our library and make the notar up a whole lot easier with the legal citator. So what we do is we add colored signals to the later cases referring to the earlier cases. So if they've distinguished it, it'll get a yellow signal, a referencing signal. So that is one step that really helps. Now, this neural network that we've got in our legal citator is in one aspect, it looks like this, where you've got Solomon versus Duval, you've got a layer of cases that refer to that, then you've got later cases that refer to those, and they might also refer to Solomon. So you can see how this neural network of cases is constructed, and it's very important to keep this in mind when you're doing your research, because it'll inform the way that you attack your cases when you research, that it is actually like a neural network of legal concept and precedent going back in time, pretty much like a brain handles memories and learning and layer upon experiences and learning. And then in our library, if you're looking at four ways haulage here, our neural network, there are very, very complex algorithms and stored procedures that run over this neural network, and it's very clever. In the years that I've been here, I'm only sort of scratching the surface at the complexity of it. And algorithm will give you the total signal, which is telling you four ways haulage is still very good. And there's a lot of complex stuff going in the background with the court hierarchies and everything else that gives you that signal. And that can really help you. Like if we're looking at the classic Odecral case, the notar up cases, the judgment treatments, you're able to filter them by how the later cases refer to Odecral. So like there's just too many. There's 125 that have just referred to it. So I'll probably unclick that, and then I'll look at the 51 that have actually applied it. Or if I'm trying to take an angle to get around Odecral, I very much might want to read these 14 cases that have distinguished Odecral. So very, very handy. This network and these signals can so speed up your research instead of going through tons and tons of notar up cases. Now there's another complexity in our neural network, and it's really highlighted by the case of Solomon versus Duval. Now in this case, the facts were that young Miss Duval, she was riding with others on her horse, and she was attacked by Solomon's very wild stallion that had been allowed to roam free, even though Solomon knew it was aggressive. And Solomon's horse bit her on the leg, picked her out of her saddle and shook her around before dropping her, and she was badly maimed. So what happened was that she sued Solomon in the Cape High Court, and she got a very handsome award there in damages. But Solomon wasn't happy with it, and he took it to the appellate division. And there, the appellate division case, which is the one that's been heavily referred to, not only did it refer to the actio de pauperii and injuries caused by domestic animals, what the appellate division really noticed was that the judge at the Cape High Court had actually descended into the arena and shown bias. He seemed to be favoring Mr. Duval and being a bit hostile and aggressive with Solomon's witnesses. So the later cases that reference Solomon, if you just looking at a list of them, you're going to have to go and read all of them. And that might not be that helpful, because what happened with Solomon is that we saw that there was a good amount of, there's about 29 cases in the note-up that refer to Solomon that are reported, and there's others that are not reported. But a lot of them refer to Solomon for the actio de pauperii and animal injury. But interestingly, because of the appellate division's comments about the judge descending into the arena, the bulk of the cases that refer to Solomon do so about judicial bias and judges descending into the arena. And some of those later cases are nothing to do with animal injuries. They labor cases or criminal cases even. And then some of the cases refer to Solomon on damages on appeal. And then there's even one that refers to it on evidence on appeal. So you can see how complex this neural network is, that the later cases don't refer to earlier cases just as a whole, but for lots of different reasons. And we see how complex this neural network gets, because just as we saw that there were 4 different topics for Solomon, but now if we look at even just 2 of the main ones, judges descending into arena and animal injuries, now you've got a whole different complexity of the neural network going on. So it actually looks more like this inside the legal citator neural network. And on top of this, we have got the most amazing complex algorithms running to try and sort it out. And these algorithms look at the hierarchy of the cases, the dates of the cases, when was it given, and there's cascade effects. Like if a much later case gets criticized or overruled, say at the Constitutional Court, it'll have a cascade effect on the cases that earlier case refers to as well. So it's a very, very complex device, and it really is something that you should be leveraging when you go to court. Now we look at Solomon versus Duval. It's instead of just looking at a stark list of citations in a traditional load-up, the legal citator will really help you unpack Solomon versus Duval and make your research much quicker by using these filters and being able to scan up and down quickly when you hit our library. So if we're looking at Solomon's note-up now, these signals are going to help you at least to target the ones that apply it. Or if you're looking for an angle, maybe from the defendant's side, you want to look at the distinguished cases, much quicker, faster research. And these signals telling you whether a case is good or not is really going to help you. So when you do venture here, rather do so with curated, edited law reports, and especially on the online with that full, incredibly complex and managed neural network of our legal citator behind you. So when you are using our library, I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Daisy Gounden, who is our top expert and trainer on searching on the library. She knows tricks and the little nooks and crannies of our library like nobody else. Over to you, Daisy. And I'm so sorry, but Daisy is having some video issues. So unfortunately, we can't see her, but she will do the screen share.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Louis. Thank you. And again, yes, apologies, everyone. I would love you to interact with me and also see my face on the video, but I do apologize. I'm going to share my screen with you. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to take on from where Louis has tried to give you the direction on what we have built into the platform and how it works. So I hope you can see my screen. Louis, has this come through? Has it come through? Can you see it as yet?
Yes, we
Yes, we're
can,
seeing the library
Daisy.
Okay,
just.
lovely. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you. All right, so once you are on our platform, some of the things that Louis has pointed out to is part of what we have in terms of the product line. And I'm simply going to go to the heading where it says cases. And this is where you will see all the different law reports as pointed out to you much earlier. So in the layout under content types, you now see the heading cases, and then you would see all the wonderful law report series that belongs to LexisNexis, our all essay going back to 1828. And then we have the others which sit here, the BCLR, the constitutional law reports. And as we scroll a little further down, you're going to get the judgments online. And Louis made reference to this when we talked of our wonderful colleague, Subhash Pillai, and the screening of those law reports as they come through from the court system and the process that we use. But the judgments online will then house what you would say as those judgments that are not reportable, although they are stamped by the judge as reportable initially. And those are often housed here. Just to highlight to you, many of you with us today, I'm sure are aware of that, our judgments online, which is often the ones that don't go into the printed law report series. Then the Prentice Hall weekly law reports here, our quantum non-patrimonial loss, and the tax cases. So on the left-hand side, under content types, sitting under the heading cases, sits our wonderful range of law report series. So let's take on some of the things that Louis has discussed and pointed out. One of those is the use of this search functionality. So I'm going to network some of the topic areas that Louis has specifically brought out. And let's say you're using this particular search functionality. We have a pre-filter option here to narrow that down to case law. So we talked a lot about, the cases under actio di pauperie, and we could actually type that keyword in here. Right now, I'm simply going to show you how to type in by case name. And here I really wanted to remind all of us in the room, everyone that's joined us, that this is the type ahead feature, which now shows the prompt. And here's the case appearing right at the top, which means that you can simply click on it and then it's going to open up to the actual judgment of Solomon versus Deval and that case that we talked about. And notice here, when it pops up the set of results, you then have the color signal showing, which Louis has highlighted and talked of and he calls it the wonderful neural network. I like the word, it's legal citator for us. It's shepherd signal in other parts of the countries, other parts of the world, I beg your pardon. Some of you know and have worked with this on our international platforms. Here we refer to this as legal citator. And here's the case up on my screen. So just by simply using the Boolean search box or the general search box, we arrive at the case immediately. When we look through the case scanned on the left-hand side, you then find all the information given to you, the full judgment all the way down to the order. But let's take a look at our support product, which is Legal Citator, and some of the things that we highlighted, that were highlighted by Louis. So here's the breakdown of what Legal Citator will offer. So in essence, what it does, it breaks down by the topic areas like this: judgment details, subject index, the judgment history, and an important tab here, which is judgment treatment. Before I move to this, I'm going to open up to subject index. Subject index breaks down the main keywords, and you can see that it has got just one starting keyword, and essentially from the fly notes and head notes, and then it breaks that down and highlights the subject topic or the fly note keyword. Some of you call it the editorial summary or refer to it as editorial summary, as we do in our law reports, and that's still available on the left-hand side, broken down here under subject index. But if we go to the judgment treatment, here's where this case, which is all the way back from 1972, is now broken down into quite an extent here. We have the specific cases broken down for you and the 11 cases that have got the green signal indicator highlighting to you subsequent case references. How do we lay out the judgment treatment? we put them in a hierarchy of the latest case and the highest court order first. So your court jurisdiction is factored in, highest court, latest case within that jurisdiction. Moving further down, you see the SCA cases and a later case that also appears right to the top. The underpinnings for the judgment are also pointed out here and hyperlinked for us. Specific cases where they have been applied, shown by the green signal indicator. Also the pagination and the specific page numbering where that case has been referred to is found on the judgment treatment list. So quite extensive, this vast neural network, as we call it, and this coming out of the Gracie's index to the nota up. So your case annotations is essentially captured here in all of this vastness. And the lovely slide that Louis had is actually just condensed in such an easy manner for us to see. So 14 cases have had a neutral citation, and those would be cases that would be referred to or compared or discussed in a subsequent judgment. Those which are applied and followed or confirmed in subsequent judgments, those have all got a green signal indicator. Should there be any dissenting judgment that has a yellow signal indicator highlighting you, it's a cautionary signal here where it has been distinguished, or perhaps the law has changed subsequently and no longer speaks to that. So we flag that for you to say, read that case carefully before you use that matter. So that's how one would find, just using the Boolean search box and also just simply using the type ahead feature. Now, I'll move on from here. Remember, I just want to show you a few things and how the system works. Let's remind you of the advanced search templates. And that's done just by clicking on the advanced search tab. And it opens up a set of templates. And one of those is the all content templates. Because we are focusing on case law, I'll switch immediately to the cases tab. A reminder here, you can select and unselect here to narrow your search to a specific law report. You could also type in just the party's details or the citation. Even one party's details suffices if you are uncertain of all parties' details, or sometimes your spelling is incorrect, and those little things that create a problem when you get your search results. But importantly, I want to show you as you scroll down a little further, because these are all some nice new developments on the search forms. We now have an additional portion which gives you the general search. Previously, you had to click to open this section. Now take a look. If I start to type in simply actio de properi, and then it starts to pull up, and I click on search results. This way, I am asking the system to only provide me with case law. And I'm asking the system to find me case law with the specific phrase. And as you can see, I've got 119 results appearing on the screen. Now, before I work through this, here's some reminders of the things that we have on the platform. Notice the signal indicators firstly, and then immediately as you saw the search results to the left of the screen, I want you to take note of all the filters that we have. And this is very important, everyone. The range of filters that we have will allow you to narrow the search very, very quickly. So if I go into the cited signal, which is essentially your legal citator, that would provide me with the color signals once again. If I use the search filter here right to the top, which says chronological order, I would be able to reshuffle the entire list that has appeared. And those results, remember, have come by what we used to say the hit list, and which is essentially the relevance and the number of times that this phrase appears. Now, when I switch to chronological, it immediately brings me the latest cases to the top. And you can see these cases well known to us here, the Karelse case and the Van Meeren case. Now, if I go into the Karelse case, I am able to open that up. It highlights the keywords, as you saw that in yellow. One can navigate down to see where those keywords appear in the screen. And if I move the screen up, here's my citation, all of my information. To the right of the screen appears legal citator. And I can quickly go into the subject index and have a look at what did this deal with. So here's the personal injury and delict aspect, and it dealt with attack by dog. Now, even if you had searched for the phrase attack by dog or wrongfulness and negligence, these cases will still come up. We are searching for it by one phrase, and it is still providing us the network and the navigation options that appear throughout the platform. So take a look at this. If I go into the Van Meeren case, now I want to show you as we use the legal citator, just to the right here, you have these signal indicators, and this white or blank circle indicates that the case has not been cited subsequently. So no subsequent references to this matter, and it is a 2020 case. And that can also be determined by looking at the heading judgment treatment. Of course, if anything comes up, as soon as it is, that judgment treatment updates quite swiftly. So do test it from time to time. So you won't find anything in there, and that's already shown with the indicator. Do note we give you the parallel citations as well, where it appears on Saflii. And if it has a Jutastat citation, we would also quite kindly provide you that parallel citation. Now, here's a nice feature that we have, which is View Full PDF. Please take note, we call it the red button. This will download the version of, the online version and convert that into what you would find on the printed law report series. So I'm going to just get back here. I'm sorry, everyone. My screens have, okay, let me see if that comes up. Okay, I'm struggling a little bit. So sorry, everyone.
Daisy, while you get yourself sorted out, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that we will be launching a poll. Please, can you take the time to respond to this? And we are expecting questions from the audience. So please feel free to use the Q&A box for you to ask any questions that Daisy will take at a later stage.
Right. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to log in again, everyone. I really apologize. It's just, just tell me if I can. I'm going to just stop share and get back to that. So something just tripped on my side. Let me just, can you see my screen share again, everyone? I apologize. Nelly, can you tell me if it's come up again?
It has, Daisy.
We're back with Van Meeren versus Curated, yeah.
Right, wonderful. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so here we have Van Meeren versus Curated, and I showed you that download, the quick download button. So this is how you are able to use the advanced search and quickly call up the list of the latest cases. Just a reminder here, just because we lost the little train of thought there, as I typed in actio de paupery and searched for the cases, I used the search filters that switched it into a chronological order. That's where I'd stopped. I'm also able to then filter this using the cited signal. And I can click on the more sign, and that pops up with a pop-up screen over and above that. And this allows me to mainly select those cases that I want to look at, and the green signals, which says these are the confirmed cases. Notice again what happens, everyone. Karelse appears right to the top, and Curated and Van Meeren. Do note, though, that it's you'd have to scroll a little further down because that has gone on appeal. And do note that if you go into the case, it will also redirect you to the update under judgment history. So do look through those different areas that we have. And if I go into the advanced search once again, this time I'm going to use the search function And if I had just typed in one keyword and said animals, it will also bring me a set of results. Just to remind you that if you typed in keywords and you put in the words animals, and you could also use the search filter that is found here, where you could then type in, let's say, if you were looking for, firstly, I should have said dog bite, and refine that search by search within results. I could also ask for the particular type of, maybe it was a particular breed of dog. I could type that in, and the system is still going to refine. What I'm showing here is how it highlights to you, where it shows the word dog, dog attack. It's also found similar keywords. And very importantly, I want to go down and scroll down to the page where my applied filters are logged, which allows me then to undo anything that I may have done a little presumptuously in my search. So I can undo that, and it will revert to the original set of results, and I can continue to clear, and that takes me all the way back to the initial set of results. So my focus here today is just to show you the power of the search tool. And just a few more minutes of yours. The download option, a little reminder here of the document options, where you're able to download and view this case, and you have the option to download into PDF or in Word, just a reminder there. And then the email or the envelope options also provides you the download into PDF or Word. Now I want to move to Gracie's very quickly. And just to remind here, what does Gracie's offer? And Gracie's, when we say Gracie's, we are referring to the publication which says index to the nota up. And here it is here on the left-hand side. And we have placed in the author's name because so many of you in this fraternity refer to it as Gracie's. And we love that as LexisNexis. It makes us a little popular, so we like that, everyone. So thank you. Now, Gracie's is still there under the heading cases. And what does it do? It still breaks down by case history, by cases reported. The nota up, you can get your case law against the rules of courts, words and phrases, the subject index, this vast network of table of statutes, which immediately renders case law according to each section or each legislation, and then each section and subsection. But let's take a look with the same thread of thought under the subject index. And this time I'm going to try for the letter A and see if I can find the word acteur de pauperie appears. And when I click to it, it redirects me to say it has been transferred, that information, under the word animals. Note the red bar slides the screen to the left, and then you start to see all the different cases. And of course, you see that the case of Solomon appearing on your screen as well. Now, these are all the cases still listed here, and you can open up to those cases and that would redirect you. So Gracie still exists on the background and you can still find your content in that way. Now, other searches, and just one more that I want to do is just to touch on what Louis has touched on, and that is pure economic loss. And these ones were just as he took you through, and look at when I type in here, the prompt appears, or I could continue to place this in inverted commas. So now here's another step. If you find that the type ahead feature, that pre-prompt that appears there, that prompt that comes up, and if you don't find your results, continue to just place your words into inverted commas. This tells the system that you want to keep it as a phrase. When you do this, you now start seeing all your case law, and in the same way, you then continue to use the search filters, reorder that in a chronological order, and that brings you the latest case to the top and all this wonderful search functionality. And I want to point you to Reference Act, which actually goes through each of the cases and it links it to whatever acts were referenced within that case. So there's a high probability of you finding precise cases here against each section, because the way you did the search and how it renders the search, if you touch on case law, it then brings you only case law. Apologies, I think I did not do that myself, only bringing you case law. Here it is. I've just done the search again. You can see how easy that was. And reference acts now will speak to every legislation that is found within that case law. So please do note, everyone, we have wonderful features throughout the platform, lots of options for you to be able to research the content. We have support structures for you to be able to support you. And we really want to encourage you, once again, to engage with us and let us give you the opportunity to have a little more training. Here's when I typed in Odacral as case law, and that would bring up, so I've changed it, bring that into, all right, I'm not lucky today, so a better way then. Let's say that does happen to you. Please go to the advanced search, select case law, type in. So the Boolean search can give you sometimes, options that don't appear. A lot of our customers will, I might have something closed off here, everyone. I think it's because I have my selection, right? I wanted to do one extra, but it was Odacral Estates versus City of Cape Town, just to highlight again Louis' neural network that he talked of. So I'm going to pause there just to allow for questions. Louis, have I covered your part adequately? Is there anything else that you'd like me to touch on?
Daisy, I would love if you could show us Henny Kropper's quantum. I thought it might be pertinent because it's all about quantum and dog bite cases, seeing as we're on sort of animal injuries. They also end up being about quantum. So yeah, if you wanted to give us a whirl there, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you very much, Louis. Thank you. So everyone here under quantum non-patrimonial loss, Henny Klopper's publication for us. So we've got this fabulous product under law reports and broken down by anatomy, trigger event, and also fully searchable. You could select and refine, and let's take a look in a similar way. If I went into trigger event, and here appears actio de pauperie again, all I need to do is click on the heading, and then it presents me with all the different cases speaking to that particular topic area. And here appears Solomon and another versus Duval, and there it is right here. And again, if I go into Solomon versus Duval, the case appears. And let me just go onto this one. So here in the quantum non-patrimonial loss, importantly here, as we go down the list and the layout of this with the medical sequelae pointed out to you, the personal sequelae, medical treatment pointed out to you, and you would see here the age of judgment, age of injury, and I'm going to scroll up again because there's something really interesting here. This is a 1971 case, reported 1972 on our citation, and you would see that the original award amount here is 7,500 Rand. And we have got in this product every CPIX, or the inflation adjusted amount and value reflected on every case. So this would be your new close to 500,000 Rand in today's terms. And I think that's an important point to note in all of this publication on quantum non-patrimonial loss. You would find that you can search by all of the anatomy or the trigger event. It's also got a combined index of the anatomy and trigger event. And most importantly, when you call up the lister, the actual case, it then shows you the amounts, the award amount, and the current value on the CPI index. Let me just quickly go to another one and show you that it's very, very similar. And there you have something of 3,000 Rand in 1975. And this is the current value, 146,800. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I'm going to hand over to the team and to open up for questions. But Louis, I'll hand over to you first. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Daisy. Daisy, just thank you. Every time you do a demo, I learn some new little roots or tip, because that library has lots and lots of tools. So one has to be on one's toes. You got to know how to use your tools to find the best results, and fast as well. Just to let everybody know, just reach out to us, please. We love feedback. We thrive on it. You can always reach us, either me on LinkedIn, you can message me on LinkedIn, or you can reach myself and Shabash at any time. Just use our case law email. It's all one word, lowercase, caselaw@lexisnexis.co.za. We would love to hear from you, hear your input and suggestions, even robust ones. We need it. So we don't want to be isolated. We want to hear what's going on, what kind of cases you need, and what your pain points are. So thank you for joining us.
Louis, I do have a question from one of our attendees. So the question is probably for you, Daisy. It says, how do we find case law for setting aside a resolution to adopt business rescue? Should I repeat that, Daisy?
Thank you, Nelly. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just trying to share my screen again.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Nelly. I did get you there. Thank you so much. I see the question from Itumeleng. Thank you so much. So here, Itumeleng, whilst I'm sharing my screen, so do look at, typing in the keywords business rescue. That would give you a wider set. And then
sorry, Daisy, your screen is not sharing at the moment.
All right, it should be coming through.
Yes, it's here.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, lovely. So Itumeleng, thank you for the question. So when you are looking for that, you could use the advanced search because of the layout. And your question then says you're looking for cases, and I'm on another screen. So if I've heard you wrong, please let me know. So simply type in the keywords which says business rescue. That would give you a wide set of results. You could type in the word resolution or any of the subsequent phrase. Let's do that, all right? So if we say resolution, and so I know I've minimized that phrase. So sometimes you do need to reduce your set of keywords, otherwise it widens it too, it's too wide, and then you might find that you're missing, or some of the results that you receive would be missing the point, okay? So we say take the crux of the matter, take the important keywords like you find in, in a fly note or in a head note or in the editorial summary, which essentially threads the area of law. So if you're looking at these, what are your main keywords? Business rescue, how do you streamline that to your subsequent keywords? And Itumeleng, we're happy to spend some time on that as well. So here's my set of keywords, and I've typed that in. I would then go to immediately switch that into a chronological order, so I get the latest case on business rescue. Then, of course, Itumeleng, I'd need to go in to examine each of those cases and to then see exactly what it speaks to. I could also use other filters, which I found here, such as the subject index or even the cited. And let me go to one more here, where you could actually then type in any other keywords, which perhaps would streamline that more to the type of resolution that you're looking for. Itumeleng, we'd love to connect with you and take you through that and help you find your content. I hope that's helped you.
Thank you so much, Daisy. I think we still have time for one other question. And it was a question from Peter Duplessis. I just don't see it anymore. So just give me a sec.
All right.
Daisy, I have reached out to some of the message viewers that they can reach us at caselaw@lexisnexis.co.za, and then we'll try and assist. But I must say, Daisy's answer on the business rescue was very good. I would also do the same. Type in a broader category like business rescue, and then search within results. That's for the query on business rescue was somewhat tricky and complicated, but if you break it down, and Daisy's spot on, and I learned this from Daisy years ago, take the broadest category like business rescue, search, you'll get all the cases, probably too many. It'll say like 500 results or 600 results, and then use search within a search or the chronological to narrow those cases down. So you can keep searching and then take off your filters. I find that's the most efficient, effective way of getting cases on topic.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you. Sorry, Nelly, I also tried to look for Peter du Plessis. I don't see it on the chat either. I apologize. I'm not sure. If
I think we're done, Daisy. We can
all
definitely
right.
close off.
All right. Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining us today and for taking the time to be part of the Lexis Library Product Talk Case Law session. We hope you found this session insightful and informative, and we look forward to hosting you at future sessions such as this. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Nelly.
Yes, thank you, Nelly. Thank you, everyone.